Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today, 'tis the season. It's finally there. Look at all that winter wonderland behind me. Now, technically, it's still autumn at the beginning of December, but December is also the month where winter begins and it's the holiday season. So we are going to do the top 5 perfumes for the month of December. And I have this gorgeous little landscape behind us with withering plants and leaves, and frost has just trickled and tickled the lands. So, well, let's just rejoice this holiday season. And I have a little bit of Vivian Westwood today, the infamous Vivian Westwood squiggle from the early 80s that was gifted to her and to Malcolm McLaren by none other than Castelbajac, Jean-Charles de Castelbajac, who was a dear friend of hers and of Malcolm. So to celebrate also Vivian Westwood, we begin with Vivian's only real true perfume. I know the Westwood Company released several Westwood perfumes, but she only ever loved Boudoir. Boudoir by Vivian Westwood, the Eau de Parfum. Now, oh man, delicious marigold, rose, tobacco, vanilla concoction. It turns darker and darker the older it gets. And I want this perfume this month because, well, it's been a year, you guys. Vivian Westwood unfortunately left us late December of 2022. So December 2023 is marking 1 year of Vivian Westwood's departure from this planet. And I just want to say that I remember her every day. I think about her all the time. And especially also because I worked with her and, you know, we also shot a movie together. And my movie with Vivian Westwood and Patrick J. Thomas, Art Lovers Unite, has traveled the world, and many people all across the world got a chance to hear Vivian's vision of art and love and life and also death. And so that movie really, now thinking about it 1 year later after Vivian's passing, it really is a true document and testament to the love of life that she really had. So of course I'm wearing Boudoir with a little bit of a bittersweet emotion in my heart this month, but I just feel like it's important to remember her. And I love this perfume so much. It is so warm. It's kind of bubblegummy in the opening, but again, it gets dirty post-coital towards the end. Very punk, very rebellious. It challenges the norms as a perfume. It is the boudoir. It is very, you know, intimate as a fragrance, but at the same time, it's also very much inviting, enticing, sensual. And like I say, perfumes know no gender. So if you are daring, whether you're a woman, a man, or anything else, if you are really daring, try Boudoir, because there's nothing else like it out there, you guys. Even the last iteration of Boudoir before it was discontinued, distribution by Coty, originally was distributed by Lancaster. Even the Coty version is amazing. Maybe a smidge less warm than the Lancaster, but it's amazing, and it will forever remain in my heart. The smell of this will always bring me back to Vivian. And when we filmed the movie together, she was wearing Boudoir. You know, she was wearing her own perfume. So this smell just brings her back to life. It brings Vivian back to life every time I smell it. So December now is not just the holiday season anymore. Since last year, December to me has an extra added layer of symbology and importance. So Boudoir is now a staple of December. Just saying. That was my number 1. So we began right off the bat wearing Vivian in her honor. The most Christmassy color combo I could find from her. And or holiday season combo, better said, that I could find from her. Now moving on to number 2. And by the way, while you're at it, if you're enjoying my content and my videos, subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me or join me on Patreon, superdacob spelled together there, for extra perks, extra exclusive videos as well. So thank you to my patrons I've already pledged. And you can also, you know, click here the notifications bell on this channel to get notified every time I post a new video. And thumb it up, thumb up the video. It means a lot to this channel and to the algorithm, because the more of you thumb up the video and the more chances I get for this video to be proposed to other new viewers that don't know the channel yet. That's how the algorithm works. The next perfume is a classic, and I am really feeling very classic this year. Don't ask why. Maybe it's the nostalgia of Vivian. Maybe because I'm always a little bit sad when the year comes to an end, and I feel a little bit confused when the year comes to an end. And um, I feel like, oh, another year is passing. But then I also remember the past, youthful years, friendships, loves, relationships, affairs, times in my life, schools, studies, jobs, works, things that were coming to an end, ending, and something else would probably be beginning after that. But it's kind of a time for me, the end of the year in general and holiday season in general, not really to rejoice, but I spend the time mostly contemplating and thinking about the past. And there is one perfume that really hits the spot for me when it comes to that, for many reasons. But let me first show you which one it is. It is Chanel's Egoiste. I adore this perfume. Okay, it's a little bit of a fingerprint magnet ever since they changed the cap from the woodsy texture to just a kind of black monotoned texture. And this is the current formulation. Batch code is 7902. Of course, now we're already in the zeros again, but it's a very smoky version of Egoiste. I love it to bits. And it is quintessentially holiday season to me. It smells of cloves, cinnamon, wreaths hanging off of doors, and on the mantle and fireplaces and snow falling outside and cozy family warmth on the inside. It really smells of holiday season. It smells of winter. Egoiste Eau de Toilette by Chanel is just, it's that perfume. The spices in here, I don't want to say, it's like a winter spice latte somehow, but it's definitely a coming together moment, this perfume. Rejoining your family and loved ones and spending some quiet time together, maybe outside of the city, just stillness. This smells of stillness and of contemplation. And it's a very bizarre perfume. It was released in the early 90s, right after Bois Noir was testing the waters in only exclusive to Chanel boutiques. Bois Noir is basically Egoiste, just slightly reformulated, made for the masses, and then released early 90s, 1991. Groundbreaking perfume, very much breaking the norm of the classic powerhouse mask for mask alpha male smell. This has a lot of sandalwood in it, and it's softer, it's more tame, it's more inviting. It's a man who's not afraid of feeling his emotions. And so there's femininity and masculinity. And I say perfumes know no gender always. This one is marketed to men, but as you can see, it doesn't even say Egoiste pour homme anymore or at all. It just says Egoiste. And it is the predecessor of this one would be Bois Noir, which predecessor was Bois des Îles, which is still in production. But Bois des Îles for me is more like beginning of a new year. This is more holiday vibes than Bois des Îles is more like the beginning of something new, traveling away to faraway lands. But Egoiste, totally December. And so it's a strange one because it's softer, it's a to men targeted fragrance, but it very much for ladies as well, for anybody who would like to wear it. But it makes me feel nostalgic because when I was first going through my first ever many years ago bottle of Egoiste, I had just kind of started a relationship, and that relationship did not end well, but there was a time at the beginning of the relationship where, oh my God, it was my first love. I felt the world is my oyster. And this perfume framed that emotion for me because I was wearing this perfume while I was feeling those emotions. So I know that that story did not end well. So this perfume has that bittersweet connotation for me because it reminds me of the best of times, your first love. You know how naive you are when you fall in love the first time and you're just, this is it. It's magical. You feel those emotions that you never even thought you had. And then they're there. And it's just one step closer to the end of youth, you know, the end of innocence. And this perfume smells of that loss of innocence, of abandoning yourself to someone or something, and then living it fully, even though the story didn't end well, you know? So there's that slightly bitter aftertaste of the story not ending well in here as well to me, which now that this reformulated version that I can, at least as far as I can sniff out with my nose, smells kind of reformulated to me, that there's that hint of smokiness that I told you before. That smokiness is, it's almost like a fog smelling smoke, incensey smoke that is from the past. So I love the fact that there's this added smokiness to it now for me, because it puts even more into perspective my past story and the love story, and that smokiness makes it feel like the memory is really far and it's kind of covered with mist and fog. So really, really emotional perfume. Love this for December. Morning, evening, day, night, whenever, of 2023. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged. And while I'm talking about Chanel, you can go check out my Chanel Instagram, a fan account called Dacob CC, all spelled together. A lot of interesting stuff there. And thumb up this video if you're enjoying it. The next perfume is also from the 90s, and it is also very nostalgic to me, and it is beautiful, and it's been overused in the 90s and in the early 2000s, but now it doesn't really have a good reputation anymore. It's considered kind of like the tacky perfume. But you know what? If you know your perfumes, you will respect this one, regardless of who you've seen or smelled wearing it, and regardless of how many hundreds of people you've crossed that smell of this perfume. It doesn't really matter, because if you really know your perfumes, you're going to know that this is a masterpiece, and it's so beautiful for the holiday season and December in general. This is Le Mal by Jean-Paul Gaultier in the original Eau de Toilette concentration. It's not one of the flankers. It's not one of the other concentrations. This is the Eau de Toilette Le Mal by Jean-Paul Gaultier. By Francis Kurkdjian, Francis's first perfume when he was around 25 years old. He is a master of lavenders. This is a fougère, also targeted to men, but it doesn't really matter. It is a beautiful lavender fragrance. I just adore this one. And vanilla, of course, and it's musky too. And yes, at a certain point in time, it feels like all the wrong people wore this perfume. You know, it was just so tacky, because at a certain point in time, a certain demographic would be wearing this perfume. And it was usually, you know, the gays first started, everybody in the club scene would be wearing Le Mal. And then it kind of became so popular, like it always happens. First, the gays come test the waters, and then the rest of the world follows. And then at a certain point, it shifted from the gay community into really weird, aggressive, heterosexual, the bad type of person would be wearing that. You know, it kind of, that's the bad reputation that this perfume gets, like a lot of things, really. I remember when Y3 first came out with the boxing sneaker in the 2000s, it was a game changer. You know, it was like better. And I think it came even before the Prada sport shoe. Y3 was the first brand where Adidas was collaborating with Yohji Yamamoto to create like luxury fashion and sportswear together. The boxing classic shoe. In the beginning, that sneaker was worn by architects, art students, you know what I mean? The intellectuals that were in the cultural sphere. And then it became so popular, the popularity grew so much more that then like the hooligans started wearing it. The certain type of bad guys, the drug dealers started wearing it. Like it became one of those sneakers where I remember at a certain point, Adidas had to discontinue it and be like, okay, we don't like the image this thing represents anymore. And kind of similar fate happened to Le Mal. it was groundbreaking and beautiful in the beginning, and then it turned into something that all the wrong people wore. And so the fragrance community started snobbing this, but I can smell a good thing a mile away. And I don't care if the wrong crowd is wearing this or not. Le Male is a masterpiece. Period. Deal with it. And especially gorgeous in December when it's really cold outside and you're all cozied up inside and you have this warm, it's a fougere that is very warm at the same time because that vanilla in here is delicious. It's very synthetic, but it's a good synthetic. Love my Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male for December. Beautiful in the afternoon and early evening in particular. Really, really good. Now, for your early mornings right after breakfast, if you're in the countryside for your holiday season, or really late at night, especially in the city, but also in the country town, I highly recommend this little beauty here. Another Francis Kurkdjian masterpiece, Onoir, from the Collection Privee Dior collection. Now, Onoir was first released as an eau de cologne in the early 2000s, as one of the first 3 launched perfumes from the Collection Privee by Dior as an eau de cologne. Bois d'Argent, Cologne Blanche, and Onoir were the first 3. Oh man, this is so beautiful. In the green liquid, which I still own a bottle of the original eau de cologne in green, and then reformulated as an eau de parfum, but again in another even more poisonous green color, and then by Demachy. And then when Francis Kurkdjian took over Dior, he brought back Onoir, but took out all of the coloring agents in the perfume, so it's not green anymore, and it's reformulated. But even the new formula is great. Hey, I listen, I would take Onoir reformulated any day over not having it at all. So I'm very happy that it came back. I do love my Onoir in summer, but I'm also really happy with it in winter. I'm one of those rare people that loves to wear this in summer. It's not going to smell great on everyone, especially if your skin and your hormones and your essential oils react to Immortelle, which is in this fragrance. And Immortelle is basically curry. On some skins, it does smell of curry, like food. So some people don't like that. On my skin, it doesn't turn into curry. It has way more fennel, lavender, obviously. Kurkdjian knows his lavender. Licorice, incense, spices, burned woods are in here. And I get those burned woods towards the end of the trajectory on this perfume in the dry down. And so it is a very, very classical fragrance, black water, Eau Noire. You know, it has that heft to it. And well, let's spritz on a little, while we're at it. 'Tis the season after all. And the spiciness of it, also makes it very, very suited for the holiday season. It has that again, the cinnamon licorice type of spice that you would have in certain drinks, warm drinks, cocoa drinks, cocktail drinks that are warm that you would drink in the cold season and in the holiday season. So there's something very festive about this one. There's something very almost, I want to say, sacred about this one. It's almost like a ritual to wear this perfume. It's a very spiritual experience. It's a beautiful, interesting combination of like a European perfume maison creating a fragrance, or releasing rather a fragrance that tackles the notion of European spirituality, A very, very, very interesting concept for perfume. Love it to bits. Originally, allegedly released as a wish, personal desire by Hedi Slimane, who was back in the early 2000s, the artistic director of Dior Homme. He co-designed the original first bottles of the Cologne, of the Collection Privee. And it is said, myth wants it, that Eau Noire was created as a wish of Hedi Slimane back then to have a perfume for his own, like a signature fragrance for him. So he chose, allegedly, Eau Noire. What a revolutionary perfume it was when it first came out. It's still gorgeous today, but just be warned, it is different today. Still smells like nothing else out there, but it's not that same bomb that it used to be in the early 2000s. But I love it nevertheless. Eau Noire is my number 4 for December. And my number 5 had to be number 5. Obviously, this is a little bit of a cliche by now because it is Chanel number 5, the Parfum, or you can call it also the Extrait. And it's spray bottle, 7.5 mil, almost empty. I got my refills. Don't you worry. I never go without Chanel number 5 Extrait. Honey, no perfume ever was and no perfume ever will be better suited for the holiday season and winter than Chanel number 5 Parfum. Ernest Beau, who's the nose behind this fragrance, is also said to have created number 5 as an inspiration of how snow would smell. Because he was in the military during the First World W, and he was battling on the fronts in Russia, and he was in a lot of snowy regions, and he envisioned that snow and lived with that snow and with that cold. And when he came back to France and started developing his ideas for fragrances, Chanel number 5 was one of those. So legend once said that there was already a ready formula for Chanel number 5 by the time he presented his first selection ever to Coco. And she apparently fell in love with it, and the rest is legend. But if you envision snow in your mind as you sniff Chanel number 5 Parfum, yeah, it all makes sense. It all makes perfect, sublime sense. Everything just falls into place. Everything is like all of a sudden just the way it has to, the way it's always been, you know? You feel like, okay, yeah, this is the perfume for December. It's really, really magical, and its full magic opens up. It's like it's a locked shrine that is mysterious, alluring, inviting, tantalizing throughout the entire year. You love it the entire year, but only in winter does this shrine magically just open up to you, and you can look inside. For a short period of time, Chanel number 5 opens its doors and it shows you its magic fully before it then closes again as kind of winter progresses. And then it's closed again until next holiday season. This is amazing. It's costly because 7.5 mil are going to cut you back over, well, the prices just keep going up. So I think it's around $150 now. It's by no means affordable. Is it worth it? Yes. And unfortunately, Chanel, the brand, knows this. And they just keep upping the price, and we suckers keep buying. But I cannot live without Chanel number 5, especially not during the holiday season. This stuff gets me through the hardships, through the hard times, and then some. You know, my meditative thoughts, my kind of going inwards, retracting, being more, just thinking, being more nostalgic, slightly sad about a year past. You know, all those kind of sad thoughts running through your mind. This one helps me stand up again, and it helps me have hope, and it helps me not just be sad for the beautiful things I've lost, for the beautiful times that have passed, but it helps me also look forward to the beautiful things that might come in the future. It's like this perfume tells me, don't worry, Dacob. Yes, those beautiful experiences from the past, they don't belong to you anymore. They're past. They have ran away from you. You have memories of them, and that's all you got. But don't worry, there's hope that you're going to have just as beautiful or even more intense experiences in the future that are still there waiting for you to belong to you in the time when you are living them before they too abandon you. It's a bitter, bittersweet thing. But then again, perfumes aren't they? You spray them on, you give them life by spraying them on. You smell the opening notes, the mid notes, the evolution of the perfume on your skin, the relationship that they have with you on your, you know what, I'm going to spray a little bit on because I'm feeling a certain type of way, honey. Oh my God. Oh, cha. Yeah, this is where it's at. Oh man, that hit the spot. You give it life. It evolves with your chemistry, with your skin. It lives, and then inexorably fades away. And then you got the dry down and then the death of a perfume. So the perfumes are there to remind us of the cycle of life. You might not think about it actively and consciously, but subconsciously it's always there, that notion of how short life is, how beautiful it is. And once it's over, it's gone, like it was never there. And then somebody else has to be born again. You spray somewhere else, something else. And yeah, perfumes are very, very good friends of mine. They help me really deal with life and death. So those were my top 5 perfumes for the month of December of 2023. It has been a tough year. It has been a complicated year. It has been a year that has made us all, I would hope, more thoughtful, more meditative, not just digging into our own issues and problems, but maybe also starting to open up and listen to our fellow human friends who are also there, who might also need listening to. I think the key for the following year would be patience. A lot of patience and a lot of, peace, I think, is what we need the most. So be patient with each other. First step towards a better world, I want to say. I'm wishing you all the best end of this 2023. Once it's over, it'll never come again. It's only once in a lifetime of 2020. Only once in a time frame, 2023. And here's hoping that 2024 is going to be fabulous, that we get another gorgeous selection of videos about perfumes, and every month a new selection of perfumes, and a lot of different perfume topics. Here's looking towards the future, and let me know your top 5 down below. Have a wonderful rest of your year. Wishing you all the best health, success, gorgeous smells, odors, fragrances, scents, and perfumes in your life. Love and joy. Thumb up this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your best perfumes down below for December. And until next time, never forget, very important, never give up on love. Bye.